Howdy, my name is Abraham Rodriguez, and today we're going to be talking about being wrong, in particular, how do I respond whenever I realize that I'm wrong. And I mean, it really depends on the situation. If I were to say something wrong, all I have to do is just probably take it back and apologize. But if I were to do something wrong, then that's whenever I would have to make up for using actions, because words won't really solve anything. And a prime example would probably be arguing with my dad. And the reason why I came to the wrong conclusion was because I acted upon emotion. Whenever we're mad, we say and do things that we don't mean. And like how Dr. Hernandez mentioned in one of his lectures, he mentioned illusion of naive realism, which is basically believing that our thoughts and perceptions are true. And whenever you're mad, you're basically in a blinded state where you say things and you do things that you don't mean, which is why I had to act accordingly, and I had to just like go to my room, wait it out, calm down. And I only realized that I was wrong because I self-reflected. I used that time by myself to realize the rights and wrongs. And like how Julia Galef mentioned in one of her videos, it's best to be like a scout instead of a soldier, despite it making me feel unsettled. And she mentioned that scouts are curious, open, and grounded. And what I had to do was keep an open mind, not only because he's my dad, but because he was in the right situation. And the only way I could explain my feelings throughout this whole situation was like basically feeling guilt. At the end of the day, he is my dad, and he's dedicated his life to giving me many opportunities that he didn't have. And at the end of the day, I need to be grateful for him. And once I processed all of that, I decided that it was up to me to apologize and make things right, which is exactly what I did. And he gladly accepted my apology, and then we went to go get food right after. A social issue that I feel that is very difficult for us to adjust or change our minds to would probably be religion. In class, we actually went over an example similar to this. Dr. Hernandez asked us what religions we were, and well, most of us said Christian, and then he asked what it would take for us to change our religion. And I mean, we all said nothing, and then he gave the example of saying, he basically gave the scenario where Buddha or Muhammad came down and basically told us that our religion was wrong, and even then we still wouldn't switch our religion. And I feel a big factor or reason why it's extremely difficult is because of mechanical solidarity, which is also something that he went over in one of our lectures. And that basically means how a society is unified or kept together. And in a society, people usually share the same viewpoints. And in order to be in this part of society, well, like I said, we have to share the same viewpoints. So one person's religion, then mostly everybody's religion, no matter what. And what roles do unconscious or implicit bias play in our ability to change our perspectives? Implicit bias basically means like a natural bias or unintentional bias, something that comes basically naturally. And I feel like a huge factor is the illusion of asymmetric insight, which is something written by David McRaney, where he basically says that we're driven to create groups and believe others are wrong. So as long as our society or our group or our tribe, as long as we're together, we basically disregard every other tribe or every other group and view them as wrong. And this ties into the next question, which is, what role do you think tribalism plays in our ability to adjust our perspectives? As Kevin de la Plante states in his video, in the Dangers of Tribalism, he defines tribalism as a pattern of attitudes and behaviors that we tend to adapt to when we come to identify with our tribes. Basically, in this video, he states that we have this mindset when we're in a tribe that our tribe is good and the other ones are bad. And I feel that plays a huge role whenever we set our perspectives when it comes to religion. Like in our families, we can consider that a tribe. And in our families, we usually grew up with one religion, and that's what we teach our kids, and that's what our kids teach their kids, and so on and so forth. And that basically sums up how important tribalism is whenever it comes to our religion. And then going back to the first two interviews, the first one, whenever she talks about how she feels whenever she's wrong, she basically states how she feels dumb. And that's a completely understandable feeling. I mean, I feel the same way sometimes whenever I'm wrong, depending on the situation, of course. And then the second person I interviewed, she said that she self-reflects, which is something that I also do, and that's something the first interviewer mentioned as well. And I mean, we all have pretty common actions that we take whenever we're wrong. And then one thing I noticed about all of our examples is that we use family members. And going back to tribalism, we can consider family basically a tribe. And the fact that we use family members to explain a time that we were wrong shows how much an effect family truly has on us. I mean, whenever we mess up within our family, it basically not scars us, but it stays in the back of our heads, because being wrong within our tribe or our family has a large effect on us. And I found it interesting how it all ties hand in hand. And basically, this sums up the whole interview. I hope y'all guys enjoyed. And of course, gig 'em.